what my job is to put on different leadership events, so like fall retreat, spring retreat, we now have Gender and Leadership Summit, the RSO Leadership Conference. I also advise Lead Corps. I also advise Spring Into the Streets, GSAC, in my spare time DSK, but that's not technically part of my job, but sometimes it is part of my job. I also oversee all of RSO finances. Team. I work with a team. I don't think anybody can really be a one-woman or a one-man show, because you always have people who you interact with. But my team, first of all, we have 5 professional staff members up here, and we support each other and help each other do what we do. And then I have 2 direct reports, and then I also have various teams of students that I work with, because they're so gracious to volunteer their time, and I couldn't do without. Being a part of students' lives has always been an important part of what I've done, and leadership is something that's really important to me, and I really just like working with students and being able to make them think about where are their skills taking them, how can they develop, what are they going to do after school is out and over with, and so I just think it was a really perfect fit for me. I think it really goes back to my undergrad was at University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point, which I know Michiganders don't like to use the hand, but it was here in the Wisconsin hand. And my degree was in biology and chemistry and comparative religion. So how do you become an assistant director in student activities from that? Great question. I was an RA for 3 years, which I loved. And during that time, I did some research experiences here at Western in the summers in the biology ecology field. So when I left Point, I came to Western with the plan to get a degree in biology from Western. And obviously, as a grad student, what you do is you try to get funding. So I applied to a couple different positions, but part of me just felt like I wasn't done with the whole housing thing. I really loved my RA experience, and I wasn't ready to give that up. Plus, the housing grad position is kind of a little bit more lucrative pay than a teaching assistantship. So I became a grad assistant in one of the halls here, and the rest is kind of history. About a year into my program, I realized that I was loving my work more than I was loving my schoolwork, and so I decided to switch my major, which I guess it doesn't count as switching majors when you're a master's degree, but I switched from a biology master's degree to a counseling and higher education degree. And then as I finished up my grad work, I became an interim hall director because position came up just before I graduated, and then I became a full-time hall director for 4 years, and I worked in the Little 3, and then at that point my husband and I were incredibly burned. So we decided to go, it was a 2-year project, but we decided to go hiking the Appalachian Trail in entirety from Maine to Georgia. It took us 6 months. Then Matt had a job to come back to, so we came back to Kalamazoo. I started looking for a job. I ended up working at Davenport as an academic advisor for 1.5 years, and this position opened up, and I knew I had to be here, so here I am, and that was 1.5 years ago. That's deep. In the context of the Kalamazoo community, obviously, I forgot one of the things that I do. One of the things I do is coordinate, Fall Into the Streets and Spring Into the Streets, which both are events that we have 500 to 750 students go out into the Kalamazoo community to make a difference. So, I mean, that would be a tangible way that my job has ripple effects in the Kalamazoo community. But in the context of the Western community, I have this strong belief in what the world according to Kate, I call it the halo effect. There is no way that 25,000 students every year are going to go through our programs. We do not have the capacity for that. And so, but the students that we do touch, touch other students, who touch other students. And so by improving the leadership skills, the personal skills, the life skills of the students that do come to our programs, I believe that they're improving the lives of the students around them. And so I just think that by spending the time with students, spending the time and giving them honest feedback and being authentic with them, which doesn't necessarily happen a lot, like to be able to tell somebody like, you know, I know that you have, like, I'm going to use you as an example, I know you have great skills, but you didn't tell me about it in your interview. And to be able to have that conversation doesn't happen a lot on our campus because people are afraid of hurting people's feelings. But if having those opportunities to say, like, look, you have great potential, you're just not living up to it, and here's some skills you can work on, here's how you do it, I mean, what's more powerful than that?